when you got sacrifice something, the mean is something hard to give. So if you given the sacrifices of prayers, the mean you feel like praying. It's hard to pray. You trust in a God that has control over everything. You ever smoke?
No.
So how do you know?
I used ecstasy already. I know that high.
But you like the high?
That was a high. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Purposeful Podcast. I am here today with one of my favorite persons, if you guys haven't realized. But before we get into all the nitty-gritty of what we're about to talk about today, I just want to thank you guys for joining us once again. And if you are new here, I want to say welcome. Thank you for giving us a chance. If you have not yet followed us, please go ahead and follow us on all social media platforms. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and spread the word of the Purposeful Podcast. So, today we're here with none other than Elton Austin, my mentor. I was going to do a solo episode today. He wanted to be in my space so bad. Ever since he did the first episode, he's just been so excited. So go ahead and say hi to the go ahead and say hi to the people. And tell us, how are you? Tell us, how are you? How have you been? Since the last time we spoke, I think it's like 2 weeks ago.
I'm fine. I'm just trying to rationalize in my head the statements about being so...
Aren't you excited though? I feel like you've been really excited since you did the last one, and
a bit of excitement has been there.
The podcast.
A bit of excitement.
He wanted to be back so bad. As to why we are here again today. So tell us.
Oh, you said that I just wanted to be in your space.
Yeah, always. You always want to be in my space. I like you always want to be in my space.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, don't be shy.
I'll leave it as that. I'll say nothing.
Because that's the truth. You can't argue.
And I'm not arguing. I said I'll leave it as that.
Okay, good. Yes. So, yes, he just wanted to be in his space. So bad. So, how are you? Tell us a bit. How was your week?
My week has been challenging. That's what I'll say.
How so?
I think more from challenging from probably a spiritual perspective.
No.
Everything could be going right in the natural, but there are those days when, your spirit feels down. Right? So I'm thinking I'm having some, not a down day, but down moments throughout the day. But nevertheless, it's getting better day by day. So that's the good news.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I know sometimes we do have those moments where everything else is just going great and you cannot figure out why there's this, I don't know what to say, like a heaviness.
A
feeling of, I don't want to say sadness. It's just it's a feeling that you just can't describe, even though everything is going good. And kind
of. It might be fair to say it could be sadness also, right? But not underplaying what it actually is. So if it's sadness, if it's depression, it's depression. But I think all in all, we can wrap it up and say it's not a good feeling.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling at all.
So it's not a good feeling.
When you said depression, one of the things I want to talk about, it's not funny. In the Caribbean household, when you go to your parents and you say mom, or we don't say mom, we say ma.
No, we say mommy.
We don't say, well, I say ma. I just feel like ma.
Caribbean children say mommy.
What you? Or mommy.
And they don't even say it with an O night. They don't say mommy.
Mommy.
Right, so, yeah.
I'm feeling depressed.
That's not even a thing in the Caribbean.
Right, but even if you say, they'd be like, depressed them where's in the kitchen, you got the roof over your head. One of the things I want to talk about, though, that is actually one of the things I want to talk about concerning our culture in terms of those kind of expression of emotions in the Caribbean household. To where you love my Caribbean people. Shout out to you guys. This is not an attack on the Caribbean household. This is just expressing some of the things that happen in the culture. It's not even anybody's fault. It's just that is what it is in the culture. We don't know what is depression. I mean, this generation. Compared to that,
But you see, everything has a good and a bad, right? So we might say that the culture does not acknowledge depression. Let's
yeah,
put it like that, right? But in the same breath of not acknowledging the depression, they're pointing you in the direction to take your mind on something constructive.
yeah, like washing
So,
and
like
dish.
washing the dishes. So, at the end of the day, whatever's the activity that you're being pointed to, forget about the manner in which the parent would have said it in. That activity can only lead to something being done in an improved manner. The wares were dirty, they're clean. So it's the activity they're pointing you to is always forward moving. Hey, sweep the yard. The yard was dirty, it's clean now. They would have not have given you the opportunity
Yeah,
to be wrapped up
in the feeling of depression.
in depression.
Yeah,
So, but what we want to do right now is to place a lot of focus on how we're feeling rather than focus on what we need to do to change the feeling. So I ain't saying it in real, but the parents, without knowing it, or strategic to put your
to
mind.
redirect your thoughts to
Correct.
something else. Okay, but on the flip side of that, I think, because coming from somebody who struggles with depression at times, I think it's more than just wanting to focus on the feeling, because really truly you don't want to focus on the feeling, but you voice it so that it is acknowledged, so that someone hears what you're going through, someone hears the emotions that you're currently going through. For me personally, when I get in that mindset, I tend to isolate. I tend to distance myself from everybody. But there are selective people that I would tell. Because if you and I communicate every day, I wouldn't just cut you off and I would ask you to give me, not really ask, but because...
Demand the space, hey.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be hearing from me.
Listen, you're not going to hear from me in the next 2 weeks. I may or may not give a reason, but I do give you like a heads up. So I think it's more of the acknowledgement of the feeling. And to step outside of that, one of the things I spoke about is in Toastmasters when we had speech competition. You know, I be signing off for all the speech competitions. So
You like that?
yeah, like no. I like to express in a constructive manner. Good. So anyways, I was talking about some of the effects, or some of the long-term rather effects, that some of our cultures in the Caribbean household would have on us, especially from childhood to adulthood. For example, I am struggling with breaking out of the habit of people pleasing. And I do think that comes from, or for me at least, stems from being in a household growing up where you cannot go against what your parents say, or you do whatever they say, because there's just, you gotta do what I say and not as I do. They say that.
Yeah.
Do as I say and not as I do. And you are not allowed to have a different opinion in the Caribbean household.
What do you want to do with that opinion?
What do you mean you think go and do what I say? Or that your mom gets really upset about this and you just avoid doing it. So you become a people pleaser because you're taught as a child to not question anything. Just do what I say. Because this pleases me, do it. It could be, and to be fair, sometimes what they're asking you to do is for your own protection, is for, but it just suffocates that voice in your mind, or that second opinion, or the thoughts that you have that's contrary, or maybe contrary to what your parents is telling you to do.
True.
So you kind of grow up with like a keep the peace mindset.
Which might not necessarily be a bad thing.
No, but
right?
in a general concept, maybe. And then I'll let you tell me why it's not a bad thing. But for me, certain aspects of it, to where the keep the peace mindset should not be a generalized concept. If I disagree, let's say you're in a relationship and the person that you're with don't like this, but it's not necessarily that it's a bad thing, it's just their preference. And I'm not saying don't compromise for your partner, but what if this thing is something that you want to do? What if this is something that's a part of your mission, your purpose, something of the sort, but because of the keep the peace mindset, you suffocate those things. And in my opinion, that kind of affects relationships in a negative manner, to where you keep things built up, bottled up inside, until one day when you can't take it no more and it explodes. Instead of saying, listen, I don't agree with this, and come to a compromise. You're even afraid to voice it in the first place. So sometimes it's not that the person wants you to do this thing and they know you're uncomfortable. They never knew because you never said it.
So I agree with that. I think, and if we're talking about most of the household traditionally, it would have been where, okay, the parent, guardian, or the elders in the house, they're not to be challenged.
Right.
I say to do this, you do it. But I think more than saying to do it, and what might be the different spectrum and varying households might be the manner in which it's said. Because the culture might be the same, but the tone might be different. And the tone, I think, is what contributed directly to the fear of voicing the opinion.
Okay.
Because there were tones where persons might would have spoken harshly, directly, but yet, probably because of the relationship, the individual would have been able to voice their opinion of that child. But then there's the other one where you're threatened.
Yeah, like,
if you actually try to voice it. So, or problem, you find that there's conflict erupting after you would have expressed.
Yeah.
So, if that's what you found was happening in those particular scenarios, then I think you're more inclined to, or you're being trained not to say anything, because you have been taught that if you actually express, it creates a conflict.
Right.
And if you're a person that you're not equipped to deal with conflict, you'll avoid it at every cost.
But I think as a child, you're not equipped to deal with.
No, so I'm talking as a child. If you're trained now, and this is the mindset that you're
Right,
going, and at some point that you're feeling, let's say even in your adulthood, right, that you don't like conflict and you don't like to face conflict, what you'll do is flee.
Good, and that's exactly what I'm saying. May have stemmed. So
correct. Yes, I agree with you.
That stemmed from your childhood, that not wanting to face conflict, and kind of fleeing from conflict, stemming from not being able to voice your opinion. And then there are just so many other things that I do not agree with that occurred in the household as relates to raising children. So those are some of the things I was thinking about, and actually what I said in my speech. And I had someone reach out to me to say, listen, I completely agree. I understand, because I think it resonates with more people than we, and we don't even know why we do half the things we do. Because tell me why y'all just coming from your back after 6 o'clock when you got the baby in the house.
So,
what do you mean?
Let me regress a little bit. Just give us context on the speech that you gave. Because you say you gave this speech, and it was about depression, but I don't think
it wasn't necessarily based on depression.
Yeah, but what was the speech about?
You know that ever since I started Toastmasters, all my speech was purpose-based. I think the first speech I ever gave, even the icebreaker, was based on purpose. And I think that one focused, the icebreaker that is, focused on why I started Toastmasters and how you encouraged me to go to that. The speech that I gave for the competition, if I can remember correctly, it was talking about living life purposefully rather, and how the past experiences and the things that we would have endured, the good things, the bad things, the life lessons, strengths, weaknesses, all of this would have now brought us to this place of where we are presently, understanding the purpose of that moment. Because I don't believe that purpose is necessarily a destination, but it's a journey. So in each stage of our lives, of course, there's an ultimate goal why we're here. But in each stage of our lives, there's a purpose to fulfill. So, for example, you are currently building a business. Maybe your purpose in that moment is to establish that business for generational wealth. after that, you decide, oh, okay, we're going to have a child. Your purpose in that moment is to focus on being a father more than you're focusing on being the businessman. So that is, the speech was basically surrounding purpose and how we use our past experiences to come to an understanding of purpose in every single thing, whether it be the good things, the bad things, because I know a lot of times we can see purpose in the good things.
So would it be fair if we're able to use everything, should we term it as not good and bad, but rather difficult things and easy things? Mm-hmm. Because I think we see all the difficult things as bad things.
Yeah.
Once it's difficult, bad. And I think this is one of the biggest deceptions in life. You might be going through a difficult time, but is it really a bad thing?
I was reading the book of Job, I was telling you
earlier.
Yeah. And listen, guys, I know we've all heard the story of Job, to where he was tested. And I was reading the chapter 1, where Satan did not go and test Job. God volunteered Job.
Yep.
God was like, have you considered? Satan, mind the business, God. So, look now. Have you considered my servant Job? And then so Satan responded, telling him that, Job is only faithful because you gave him all these things. Like, he has everything. So why would he not be faithful? Why would he not be God-fearing? You have basically put a hedge of protection around him. He good. So God, listen. You can go. The only thing you cannot touch is him, the man himself. And I stopped at the part where the servants came and they told him that, all of his cattle, sheep, camels, even his children had died. And instead of him, like, shouting, oh my gosh, why me? Like, he actually just worshipped regardless. And he said that God gave it and he can take away. And regardless of what, he worshipped. And a lot of us can go to God in bad times. As a matter of fact, I run, not walk. Not walk, I run to God when I'm struggling. I run to God in the bad times. I run to God when I feel as though I've messed up. Like, in the bad times, I run and I cry to God. But can you still give him praise in those bad times? Can you still look at the bad situation and say, oh, this is for a bigger reason, a bigger purpose, there's a bigger purpose behind this, and still give him praise, still worship, say, God, thank you regardless? So that was really what I was thinking about when I was reading Job.
I think one of the things, even if we were to look at the story of Job, right? Yes, God is the one who volunteered Job. But Satan knew Job. He didn't ask who was Job. So it clearly shows, even though God is the one who volunteered him, the devil had eyes on him all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So God didn't just idly pick somebody. God knew that the devil was watching him, prowling around. And then the devil also immediately said why he's serving you. See, he had an assessment of that individual. Because, of course, probably he got a logbook saying all the persons he can't touch. And he said, this is the reasons why we can't touch them. And if ever given the opportunity, I know exactly what to do so that they can fall.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right? But even in Job's weakness, he didn't let go of God. And that's the key. And we might say all these bad things happened to Job. But the question is, were there just difficult things? And I think we mix up bad with difficult. There were difficult things. Bad would have been if these things had happened to Job and he lost his salvation, then we could say a bad thing happened to Job. But there were, yes, some difficult things that Job did incur. Now, in addition to Job incurring these difficult situations, we could look at life like this. They say, God give it and he take it. If God is the author and the finisher, and he gives life, Job's entire family would have been covered by God, meaning they would have had salvation.
Yeah.
So even if God removed them from this world and carried them to the next phase, they did not end up in a worse place.
Mm.
But we could have only seen death as a bad thing. But really and truly, imagine God took Job's family and all of them would have been saved and they would have reached to heaven. And because this difficult thing happened to Job, he had cursed God and lose his salvation. The end game would have been, he would have been the one that lost because his entire family would have been there celebrating in heaven and he would have missed the mark.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we focus on the bad or the difficult and we only see life up to death. And this is the biggest mistake. That's why things look hard. That's why it seems bad. But if Jesus came and he conquered death, then if you really look at life for what it is, you really won't have any fear. The things that you feel might be painful, you just see it as a difficult situation, but you trust in a God that has control over everything.
Yeah.
And the key to it is God volunteered Job. Why? A man who has everything, doing well. And it goes to show you that persons might think that when they see you going through trials and tribulation, it has to be attributed to something negative. But he did nothing. Nothing. Prayed every day. And he prayed for his family every day. So the devil knew exactly what to touch because he knew what he valued.
Yeah.
But guess what? The devil didn't know that he valued God above it all.
I think that's what he was trying to challenge.
And that's why God said, did you consider my servant? Because God is saying, hey, that man there, he values me above everything. Now the question to each and every one of us, if God is really to allow the devil to come into our life, can we really say that same thing? We value God above everything else, and he takes everything from you.
A lot of people say, I'm fasting for this, because I've done it too. I believe that we've all fasted for things.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Right. I'm fasting for this. Or if something happens, you'd be like, but God, I did this, and but God, I prayed. I don't think God should have to do anything to earn your praise. Like he should not have to earn your praise. Oh, I'm doing this so that, or I'm praying so that. If you're like pray without ceasing. You're supposed to pray regardless of what is happening. Worship regardless of what is happening. I'm not there, but that's a lifestyle I want to live. That's where I want to get to.
You know, the God is saying, I can't remember the verse name, but they say, offer the sacrifices of prayers to God. And it might sound simple, but a sacrifice means, when you got sacrifice something, the mean is something hard to give.
Yeah.
So if you give in the sacrifices of prayers, the mean you feel like praying. It's hard to pray. So when you really give in a sacrifice of prayer to God, the mean in this season of life, just to open your mouth and say, thank you, Father, could be one of the most difficult things. But you still need that sacrifice regardless of how you feel. It's like putting your flesh to death and opening your mouth and giving God praise.
Regardless, yeah. I'm trying to get there. I've been in a place where it has been a struggle, I'm not gonna lie. But I am trying to get there. I'm trying to get to that place of I'm working on being obedient because
You're a disobedient child?
I'm not a disobedient child.
I'm just
It's
asking.
just the things. Sometimes, like you said, we don't want to do it, but
you don't. And I think when I was pondering on it, why don't we want to do it? We say with our mouths that God is almighty, all-knowing, the Alpha and the Omega. Then if you're associated with the most powerful being in the universe, why is it that you don't want to do it? And it's so simple, but we don't want to admit it. We really don't trust God. When you trust somebody and they tell you to do something, you don't even realize. You just do it. There don't even be a thought in your mind that the request or whatever they're asking for, any negativity towards it, any disbelief that the thing that they're telling you to do, that you will achieve it. And a lot of us don't want to admit that we're deceived, right? Here was the thing about deception, right? It's not opposite to the truth. It's close to the truth. When you're being deceived, if it was opposite, you would see it clearly.
You would see it crystal clear.
Right? But deceit by nature means that it looks like the exact thing, but it isn't.
Wow, yeah.
So a lot of times we're so close, but yet so far. I was thinking, and I had a statement to say, God said He doesn't like you when you're lukewarm. I was thinking, why? And then it made sense. It's like, that's when you can deceive people. If you're lukewarm, that means one day you're praising God, one day you're not. Or we could put it like this: if you're lukewarm, it's not clear cut that you're doing bad over there. So even though you might be doing some good, you're still not for God. So if somebody is to look at you, they might look and want to use you as a role model, but if they dig deep and follow everything that you're doing, you lead them astray.
Wow, yeah.
So that's the most dangerous set of persons to be around, because the lifestyle of a lukewarm person will deceive you into believing that you're following God.
Do you think that everyone that is lukewarm can tell that they're lukewarm, or do you think that some persons think that they're doing the right thing when really truly they're not?
This deception again. And God have given us a spirit of discernment. We choose to listen to what we want to listen and was comforted.
Yeah, I just
right?
say comfort, yeah.
And we don't like difficult situations. In other words, we resent pain because, again, we associate pain with difficulty. But, I used to like to give an analogy, right, of the benefit of pain. And I used to say, imagine walking down the street, barefooted, running down the street, mash the sharp object, cut your whole big toe off. But you see, if you felt the pain there, right?
Yeah, it's true, big toe.
Good. Just imagine now that you're not able to feel any pain, so you keep running. Right? And you keep playing and you keep having fun. Right? So you're having a good time. But you're not able to feel the pain. Within a half an hour, you bleed out. You will die. If you had felt the pain, even though you lose your toe, the pain would have been the very thing that saved your life. Because you would attend to that wound immediately. Your body would have signaled you that something is wrong and it needs to be attended to. And that pain would have saved your life. But imagine running from pain all the time. So imagine using anesthetics. So let me call sin anesthetics. And you're using these anesthetics daily. So now you're no longer receptive to pain. And you get a cut. That means you're killing yourself every day without knowing it. So every time you sin, it's like taking an anesthetic. You can no longer feel the Holy Spirit. You could no longer be receptive. So what happens? You continue going down that road and you find yourself getting a big gash. And all you're doing is bleeding out. But you're having fun. And you're not aware of it.
Wow.
And that is a dangerous place to be.
It is.
Right? And that's what happens. Now, I'm saying it to say the lukewarm person is still dabbling in the sin. So they're immune to some extent. But they're not coming out full-fledged and saying, oh, I'm doing everything bad. So they still look good.
Yeah.
Now, if you got those persons among you, it's hard to tell the sheep from the goat. And for new persons coming into the kingdom, persons wanting to follow God, they're more in a vulnerable position because they might mistakenly take a goat for a sheep and pattern their lifestyle according to that. So right away, what you find is happening now is that persons are now cultured in that way, straight down to the road to hell. In other words, they were deceived because it was so close to the truth, but still not the truth.
Wow. And you find that a lot of people say that they want the truth, and then when the truth hits, it's like,
yeah, I told you the truth many times and you decide not to accept it. Right? But truth is not easy. Yeah. You know why truth is not easy? Because truth is not about you. And every time we think about the truth, we associate it with what we want, with what we desire. I. Truth has nothing to do with you. There is only one truth. And that one truth is what comes from God.
Yeah.
So that means you have to be willing to trust God, whether it feel good or not, because that is the truth. You know, and the Bible got some real good nuggets, and it's so simple that I think, flies over our heads. Like it say, lead not unto your own understanding. Now, we think, again, only in difficult times, in simple things, we figure, oh, I can make that decision. Oh, this doesn't feel good, so it can't be of God. That's your own understanding. We got to be willing to follow God, like Job, even when it's hard. We gotta be willing to trust God, even when the world look like it's falling apart, because He's the restorer of worlds. He's the creator of worlds, and just how we give it, He can take it. But just how we take it, He can give it.
As we see with Job.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're only concerned about the physical. So that's what makes it even more difficult. We only live life from what we're seeing. And that's why it's say you got to pray and fast, because here will happen. As much as you're eating every day, that's what fasting is for the soul, is food. It's nutrition for the soul. It's what strengthens you. If you don't eat, you'll get weak physically. So even if you were to go to work, you cannot function. So imagine your soul. So imagine how many weak souls are walking around. How many weak spirits are walking around.
Yeah.
So there's no challenge for the devil because everybody's weak.
Wow. You guys, Yeah, so.
Right? So again, we take these things lightly, and then hear what we say. We fast one day, and we say, "Oh my God, this feel like death. I'm gonna get wind." Now, if God say you could fast, and if He say you should fast, you shouldn't bother with what your body telling you,
True.
because He ordained it. But guess what we can do? We can go to somebody else and make sure that they give us the okay, that we could do what God commanded us to do. That means the person got to be more powerful than God. And that's what we do. And then we say, hey, and then somebody's going to say, no, if you do that, no, one day is good enough for you. Don't do that, you're going to get sick. But your creator said to you, do it. Who you're going to trust with your life? No. Because it's evident that if you eat every day and you don't fast, you're going to keep living. So we do what we know. And we lean on our own.
Understanding again.
And we love our own understanding. We love it, we love it, we love it. Even me love it.
I'm working on that, you see? Not in terms of loving my own understanding regarding the word, but I felt not presently again. I'm working on it. But I felt as though if I don't understand something, and you would know this, because sometimes I remember you were trying to teach me something with Excel one time. And you were trying to tell me, click the thing, and I'm like, what thing? And then I'm trying to ask you why. And you're saying, just do it. I will tell you why later. And I'm like, I don't want to do it because I don't understand. So that's how my mind, like, I'm used to have arguments for that just because you made do it and I don't understand.
It's hard.
But but I am working on just walking in alignment and obedience regardless of whether or not I understand. Because I feel like my mind is it needs to be logical.
And that's not a bad thing, you know. I'll tell you what, let's dive deep into the particular scenario. After we would have developed a relationship, and I would have proven to you, so I'll clear it up, right? That what I say worked. After then, if I say click it, you're going to take the chance and click it and then settle for the explanation later.
Yeah.
But the relationship so had to be built, and I still had to prove to you who I am.
Yeah.
And a lot of times God proved to us who He is, but we're responsible for building the relationship.
That is so true.
And every time you did it and you saw it work, it became easier when you got the instruction. And you know, that's what it means by exercising your faith. Because you do it and you trust that whatever was said, that this would be the intended outcome.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, just like what you're doing, we want to know why. But why still doesn't give you outcome?
That is true.
Even if I had said this is the reason behind it, you still needed to act. And, you know, even if we were to go back to the Garden of Eden, in Eden, where Adam and Eve was, she wanted a whole lot of things. There was a whole lot of questions. She wanted to know why she shouldn't have eaten the fruit. That was it. And God said, don't eat it. And here what is it, you know? And He told her why. Now sometimes you want an elaborate explanation. What do you mean by I'll die?
Yeah, because
what does that really, you know? Correct. So that's it. So sometimes it's not that we don't get the why, you know. It's that why isn't good enough.
Oh. And a lot of times it's because we wanted to align with what we want regardless. So let's say what you're asking me to do is contrary to what I want. We still try to get a breakdown. Maybe we could see
because you're still trying to prove what you believe is the right
thing.
And then the devil saw the opportunity. Oh, so you need a further understanding. Don't worry, I got you.
And
I'm going to give you the understanding. And I'll give you the understanding to rely on what you wanted. So God is basically what he did. At some point, she had a desire. And all he did was encourage that desire by giving her the right words. I'll tell you this. Adam and Eve, this is the garden. This is the whole garden. Imagine this to be thousands of acres of land, right? And let's say the forbidden fruit is here, right? If God tell you, don't touch this thing, right? Where would you build your house? Till from here,
Far from
right?
it, yeah.
How is it that you reach here? It's gonna be the first day. That means something was drawing you to here. You got everything else acres away. And we got the same tendency. The one thing that you shouldn't do, you got all these other good things that you could. So just imagine it. This square footage of a tree could be this here. This compared to acre land where you could have put yourself. So maybe the first thing what you did, Eve didn't fall when she eat it. She fall when she put herself in the presence of the thing that she should not have been associated with.
Yeah. A lot of times what you find, this is so good, what you find happening is people are drawn to the forbidden stuff.
Yeah, but the first thing God said, he said, flee. When Joseph, after was sold into slavery and Potiphar's wife wanted to indulge with him, right? He didn't try and say, and be strong and say, as a man, you know what, I'm not going to do this. He ran. Because he knew that here will happen. If I'm in this environment, I can't save me. I'm going to do this thing. But here I will know how not to do it. Run from it. Stay far from it. We don't have the mentality. We pray for strength to go close to the thing.
Put your foot, see how close you
could get. And say, I'm strong, God. Yeah. God, and here we profess now. God has strengthened me. To deal with temptation, flee from it. Do not put yourself in the space where you gotta resist. You won't be able to resist. That's not how it's built. And God specifically gave us how to deal with it. And again, we want to lean on our own understanding because we feel we're strong enough and we can go there, we can do this and not fall. And God is saying, I've given you the formula. Flee from that thing.
Yeah. Broke out, run with all your might. So yeah, that's I'm really getting into the book of Job. The book of Job. Because I've heard the story multiple times, I just haven't read it for myself to like get into details about Job. But Job was a real MVP. Also David. I like David. David was blacklisted. He was a watchlist.
Alright. And even the story of Job, I think most people try to rationalize why did this happen to Job. What's the whole purpose of the book? God came, identified Job, Satan tempted him, took away everything from him. What's the real essence and the story behind the book of Job? Good. So that's homework. That's homework. Right?
Not homework. Okay. I don't know how I feel about it, about homework, but okay.
Yeah, it's good homework, you know?
Good homework. Yeah.
Good homework. Good
it's
homework.
Good homework because it's gonna encourage me to read. Which I was telling someone the other day, I need to start remembering who I tell what. Because why I always telling someone something. Someone I was telling him that I like the Bible. Like the Bible got all the stories you could ever need. You want the good things, the bad things, the in-between things. You want to see people of all nature and kind.
True.
There is literally nothing new under the sun. And if you read the Bible, you see that there is nothing new under the sun. See that these things that we are now experiencing in this day and age, they would happen before.
Yep. Let me ask you a question, right? Do you really think you could live an exciting life for God?
Yeah.
In comparison to the world. And don't speak for yourself, speak general. I'm gonna say to the world, like all the nice clubs, like all the bars,
Well, I
like that.
can't speak general
So
because
so I'm saying, if you don't do clubbing and you come to God, what do you do?
clubbing for God. Outside at the gospel
And the
concert,
gospel
like
concert.
kind more. Outside and shout and praise to Jesus instead of you shouting and praying for the not praying. Instead of you shouting at the celebrity that's on the stage like crazy wrong and then you out there shouting in the name of Jesus. Same thing. It depends on you see, I can't answer that in like a general context because I don't necessarily find the things in the world exciting. Like clubbing. I'd be so sick of the club. I went to the club a few times. People walk, jam your shoulder. I don't like when people jam your shoulder.
No, I just
Smell of
asking, right?
alcohol and it's just no. It's just a no. Like those things I do not, me personally, do not enjoy.
So fair enough. So for the persons that do enjoy it, right? Mm-hmm. If you had to advise and say, hey, what would you see living for God as being better than? How, if you were to give activities, lifestyle, everything, right? What lifestyle would you describe to somebody who's in this state to say, hey, don't do this because this here is better?
I think in order for anything rather to be, I was about to say living for God, but in order for anything to be enjoyable, it has to start with your mindset. You have to choose to do better. Otherwise, you can be in a crowd. It could be worship going on. There could be praise going on. There could be everything, and you would not enjoy that because your mind, you're elsewhere. So while your physical being is here, you're not present in the moment. You're not here in the moment. So I think first and foremost, you have to want to be in that space. For me, I like going to Bible study, like the gospel concert that they had, and then I like doing.
But you're answering for you again, or you answer for the general?
Well, I can only answer for me.
Question again, right? So I ask you, what do you think people get from drinking and smoking and all these things?
I would think it's a dopamine something in terms of one, feeling a relief from whatever stress and anxiety, and two, it's like a high, like you're in a place where you have no worries.
Very good. Question. Do you genuinely believe, God could provide the daily for you?
Yes.
How?
By you being in His presence, you get to sleep high in the Word.
You ever smoke?
No.
So how do you know?
I don't know.
You drink?
No, but I listen, I had alcohol before.
Fair enough.
I don't like it.
So I'm saying it to say.
You know what I did? I used ecstasy already. I know that high.
Good, you like the high?
That was a high.
You like the high?
It was a high.
Do you like the high?
I liked
that
high.
Very good. So, like as the word says, ecstasy, right? Do you believe that God could give you that same high?
Yes, I have experienced that.
From God?
Yeah.
Exact same high.
Or even a high above that. Not gonna lie.
How? Tell me about it.
So, it was, I don't know if it's a high. It is more of a relief, like I was saying earlier, people may use these things to relieve from stress, anxiety, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I was going through like a whole lot. And that was actually the point where I decided to try. Well, I decided to try ecstasy. Uh-huh. And it was good, but when the high was gone, when it wore off, mm-hmm. You were right back at square one.
Fair enough. So then we know that.
I think I went through this period of just feeling so empty. And like just overwhelmed with everything that was happening, and it felt as though nothing meant anything. There was no purpose in anything. And then I decided to pray to God and ask Him to consume my life. I decided to spend more time in my word, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. But when I am telling you the level of fulfillment that I had when I decided to let go of everything and just have God consume my life, that was an unmatchable, if you want to say high. I don't think it's a high. But
so why it can't be, and this meeting, why we got downplay it? Why it can't be the best high?
no, but me and downplay say that's not. It's like a beyond the high.
Beyond the high.
Yeah, it's like beyond. It's like fulfillment.
So when you use ecstasy, right, it give you basically a good feeling.
Yeah.
This is the end game, right? No worries, no just
nothing.
no nothing.
Just conscious of what's
happening, right? Good. When you give your life over, well, not give, because you use a very profound statement. You say when you give everything over to God.
Yeah.
So you release everything.
Yeah.
So it wasn't me now trying to do anything, or wasn't, hey, take my life.
Yeah.
At the point. In the moment.
Yes. In that moment, in that immediate moment.
What was your line of thought, like, for persons who might want to understand what it means to really release everything over, or hand everything over to God?
For me, I don't think I'm the best person to advise people on that.
I ain't saying advice. We're just asking about your experience.
Saying in my experience, I was just honestly done. I was not doing a good job at controlling my life at all. I was not, and everything felt so out of place, and I felt like I am one of those people that feel as though I need to be in control, and you would know, of all the things. And it's like I was grabbing at this aspect of my life and trying to hold on to people that I've known for years and people that are seemingly drifting, and I'm trying to hold on to relationships, and I'm trying to hold on to my job and studies and everything, and I only got two hands. And I'm trying to
trying to do everything
hold on
yourself,
to everything, and it's literally stretching, like this is pulling.
So the main everything going in different directions, and you're trying to pull everything
to consume it back and keep it because I want to have the control.
So it's the fear of those things leaving, like,
yeah. It really is the fear of those things leaving, and the fear of it spiraling out of control to where I cannot, even the opinions of other people and the thoughts that other people have of me, I used to try to control. So it's like, if you tell me that, this person think, that's lucky, hard, and I'm gonna edit out that part. So it's like, if you tell me that this person think this negative thing about me, or this person don't like me, then I'm trying to figure out, me? Like, why would you not like me?
I'm trying to fix it.
Like, what I'm trying to ask, why did it? And then when you tell me the reasons, or even if the person don't have a reason, because sometimes, in Caribbean household, we beg the spirit can take shit.
The spirit taking world.
It's a spirit taking world.
Yeah.
So even that, I would try to be like, what can I do to get this, or what can I do to get it to think this way of me? So I was so much of a person that wants to have control over everything. And that was driving me crazy to the point.
Control and validation.
And validation, yeah. So I was literally just tired of not doing a good job. So
you're not doing a good job. You're not in control. Well, you feel like you're losing control. You're not getting the validation that you need. Mm-hmm. You're in a position of pain. You're losing.
Yeah, losing.
You're losing.
All wrong.
Good. And you're now at the point of saying and handing everything over to God. Mm-hmm. What was the specific moment, the experience?
So,
what was the conversation with God like?
That was, sadly, more of a ultimatum that I just...
Fair enough. Yeah, just let's have it as it.
I was driving. I was going through so much. All these emotional. I was going through so much, and I was in so much pain. And my mind was. I was just driving. I was just driving myself crazy with all the internal turmoil and stuff like that. So I was literally driving down the East Bank Road there, and I was crying, and I was just in an emotional state, and I just felt like I couldn't do it anymore. Like,
Couldn't do life
God,
anymore.
life could not do life anymore. And I was like, God, listen, I don't even want to be here. So here's what we're gonna do. You are going to literally take the wheels because if I gotta do it, I'm done. I don't want to do it. So that was my prayer was, listen, God, if you don't take this fate away from me and I gotta do it myself,
You can take your life.
yeah, I might just close the play. So
You got a
yeah,
choice here. Either you take it or I end in it.
all right, and yeah,
And
I'm telling you, and this may sound like an exaggeration, but it's not. I'm telling you, immediately I felt relief. Immediately. That was it.
so it's safe to say, right? We really gotta come to God in the realest way and be vulnerable about it.
Yes.
And really be like at the point because for you it was no exaggeration. It wasn't a big fancy prayer.
No,
It
was
it
not.
was it was as you said, it was simple. Hey, this is what gonna happen now. Either you take it or I can take control and I can do what I gotta do and that's it.
Yeah, that was really it. And a lot of times we like to say, oh, God knows my heart.
The wicked heart.
You listen. You listen. You need to say the things that you want God to know out loud. Yes, we know that God knows your heart. We know that. But you need to say the things out loud. You need to ask for what you want out loud. And sometimes when you don't get what you want, it's really because you don't need it. Stop.
Yeah, that's so
That's it.
true.
Long story short.
You don't need it.
You don't need it.
So what was it like days after that moment?
It was still the same high. Like I felt so nothing mattered.
Like
The everything I was that was probably one of the closest time period that I've had to God. Because nothing mattered. I was just going through life on like a float. Just
so you move
really by faith.
instantaneously. This is the line, right? From everything falling apart to instantaneously everything just feeling good.
Yeah, because I call it the peace that surpasses all
I'm
understanding.
understanding.
Every time I think about that moment or that period of my life, I will smile and I'm like, yo, the peace that surpasses all understanding.